Yahello is lying in the snow injured and without strength, thinking about how weak he feels. He finds himself alone and feels the weight of his powerlessness. Yahello, the woman he promised to love. With eyes red with emotion, she begs Yahello to find strength in himself. He closes his fist, firmly demonstrating his decision to change. Yahello promises Yahello that she will become stronger no matter what the cost. He dreams of becoming the greatest martial artist and living in a palace. Yahello watches him, torn between hope and a slight fear for the future. Together they make a solemn promise, swearing to fulfill their goals. Years later, Yahello contemplates the horizon with the wind caressing her hair. Yahello appears older and more powerful, wearing a sun hat that highlights her presence. A man pulls a cart loaded with a huge package, walking with effort. Two men talk animatedly. One of them tells how he almost lost his life recently. A smiling woman mentions a nearby village, arousing curiosity. The same woman is welcomed with joy and respect at the local trade guild. Feeling welcomed, she relaxes, confident in the protection she finds there. The guild proposes a formal job offering stability and good conditions. She kindly declined, explaining that she has personal reasons for taking another path. The woman reveals that she has a goal to fulfill linked to an important oath. An older man warns her about the dangers that exist in the region she intends to explore. The woman is asked about a monster that is murdering martial artists in the region. A man explains that the monster carries the bodies of its victims inside a large bag. The bag is shown, revealing gory details and a disturbing scene. The woman identifies the two supernovas that are shaking the balance of the martial world. She calmly drinks while discussing the actions of mysterious supernovae. An older man reacts with fear upon hearing about these powerful figures. The bloody bag reappears. Yahello appears wearing a dark outfit with a strong and intimidating presence. He is seen from the back walking through the guild, attracting amazed looks. Everyone there quickly recognizes Yahello, filled with a mixture of fear and respect. Two bright stars appear in the sky, representing the two supernovae of the martial world. Yahello is presented as a cold and ruthless villain feared by everyone around him. He is called the Chaotic Sword Demon, which is a title that terrifies even the bravest. The protagonist arrives at the inn and asks directly for the owner of the place. An employee approaches and offers help while the protagonist waits for information. With frightening calm, Yahello picks up bloody luggage loaded with mystery. A man tries to confront him, but the protagonist stops him with impressive ease. Those present are paralyzed, shocked by the brutality and control of the protagonist. He declares that the innkeeper is his prey and no one else should interfere. With a firm warning, Yahello ensures that no one will dare touch her under his watch. The man approaches and apologizes for everything that happened there. The protagonist is shown with his back, standing next to the victim's body lying on the ground. He notices and comments that the victim is still alive, breathing with difficulty. Without hesitation, the protagonist decides to end the suffering of the injured person. With a firm blow, the protagonist's hand takes the victim's life precisely. Scared, the woman runs, trying to get away from Yahello's threatening presence. The protagonist and the woman enter into combat, both using spears in fast movements. The woman comments that she finds Yahello's challenge completely inelegant. Observers look at the scene in shock, questioning whether the protagonist still has sanity. Yahello faces her and formally challenges her to a duel, leaving no room for refusal. Jo Yoon describes Yahello as a cruel and evil villain who threatens the order of the martial world. She declares that her mission is to restore balance after defeating him in combat. Jo Yoon affirms his determination and makes clear the purpose behind his presence there. The protagonist responds with a menacing smile full of dark intentions. And he starts laughing uncontrollably. He accuses her of having abandoned the path of righteousness and betrayed her values. With indignation, he gives a great sigh. Her eyes turn red with anger. Yahello retorts that she is completely wrong about her actions. Jo Yoon stands firm, believing that he will try to use common excuses. She challenges him to a direct fight, determined to prove who is really right. The protagonist questions Jo Yoon's determination by challenging his courage and conviction. Jo Yoon watches him suspiciously, analyzing his every move. A person in the background directly questions whether Jo Yoon still has his sanity intact. People around comment on the mortal danger that Yahello poses. A memory of a seriously injured man is shown, highlighting the brutality of the situation. The protagonist is again described as a ruthless demon without mercy. Jo Yoon appreciates the words of concern from others, but stays focused. She reaffirms her decision to fight, motivated by an oath she made in the past. Your goal is to become the greatest martial artist and restore order. The protagonist waits for her silently with a serious and defiant expression. Completely exhausted and without the strength to continue waiting, he sighs. He starts crying, overcome with despair and wanting to escape the situation. Yahello insists that he was just trying to sell the prey he had caught. The supposed prey is surprisingly revealed to be just a dead pig. He feels wronged, believing that his appearance makes a bad impression. The protagonist admits to being just a talentless warrior lost in the midst of challenges. He observes her closely and concludes that she seems to be out of her mind. He comments on the strange and unusual behavior she displays. Meanwhile, Yahello is desperately looking for a way to escape. Despite everything, he is determined to survive and fight for his life. The protagonist is firmly determined to fulfill the promise he made to Sealwa in the past. Sealwa suddenly appears wearing a sun hat that covers part of her face. She hears reports that a fight is about to break out. The others watch the scene in silence, surprised by the intensity of the confrontation. Sealwa touches Jo Yoon's neck, seeking his attention. Jo Yoon is surprised and asks who it is. She is shocked to see the white-haired girl, clearly surprised by what she found. She questions the seriousness of the duel, asking if it will really be a life-or-death fight. Sealwa is visibly worried about what is to come, fearing the consequences. Jo Yoon observes the situation and is embarrassed and uncomfortable with Sealwa's beauty. The others recognize Sealwa by her appearance and the sword she carries with such skill. The white-haired girl is introduced as a disciple of the greatest martial artist today. She is described as the opposite of the chaotic sword demon in everything from her morals to her technique. She was given the title Sun Moon Sword, a reference to her strength and balance. Jo Yoon sees the opportunity to become famous if she can team up with Sealwa, and reveals that his true mission is to find and confront Yahello. The white-haired girl quickly understands the reason for Jo Yoon's presence and what she is looking for. With determination, she finally finds Yahello, her destiny before her. Jo Yoon realizes that Sealwa is also looking for a protagonist like her. The white-haired girl warns that there will be big problems if they continue searching for Yahello. Jo Yoon suggested that they report what happened to the authorities to resolve the situation. Yahello agreed and decided to report what happened, seeking justice from the authorities. He made the decision to formally tell the local authorities what happened. The protagonist argued that the duel was illegal and should be treated as such by the authorities. Suddenly, he was hit by an unknown force that took him by surprise. When you look back, you recognize who you are, and tries to approach a restricted area but was blocked. Sealwa appeared and said that she finally found him after searching for so long. She revealed that she had waited a long time for this moment, looking forward to this meeting. Jo Yoon was taken aback by the white-haired girl, who was closer and more determined than ever. She confidently revealed that she became the greatest martial artist by achieving her goal. Sealwa, with a smile, said that she now has a lot of money and a comfortable life. Unexpectedly, he proposed marriage to Yahello, offering her a new life, while the protagonist is shown asking her to marry him in the past. Without hesitation, she repeated her marriage proposal, now more determined. People around asked for medical help for Jo Yoon, who was still visibly shaken. A man calmly explained what happened at the inn, detailing the events. Only the couple remained in the room as if everything had ended there. One has wondered aloud if the two stars will finally face off. The two were alone in the destroyed room, reflecting on what happened. The protagonist and Sealwa exchange intense glances, as if something important is about to happen. He comments that he saw Jo Yoon and Sealwa running, implying that something happened. She reacts with disbelief, not fully believing what he just said. He explains that breaking down doors with a sword is abnormal behavior. Yahello, with an ironic smile, says that Sealwa is also abnormal, teasing her with that. The protagonist says goodbye to the girl, looking like something is about to end between the two. She surprises him with an unexpected action, interrupting his farewell. Hyol refuses to call her madam, insisting on keeping a certain distance. Sealwa holds his hand tightly in memory, as if she was trying to trap him at some point, and asks Hyol to repeat what he said with an embarrassed expression. He called the girl by name in a familiar tone that broke the silence between them, and began to tell how he became her servant. Sealwa was shown as a child facing slavery and fighting for her freedom. The protagonist seriously explained that she was the beginning and end of his story. A thoughtful Hyol began to doubt himself and wondered if it was all just a dream. Sealwa was calmly drinking tea, looking distant and deep in her own thoughts. Now the two were having tea together. She asked him what he thought of the tea. Curious, Hyol questioned Sealwa's formality, trying to better understand her stance. She calmly mentioned the promise made by Hyol, reminding him of the commitment made. The protagonist is happy to see her again, feeling his heart racing after being away for so long. Sealwa smiles at him, radiating serenity and a beauty that seemed even more enchanting, while Hyol blushes and is visibly embarrassed, not knowing how to react to her smile. He asks Sealwa if she also became a martial artist, curious about her journey. The white-haired girl replies seriously that she trained hard to fulfill the promise she had made. The protagonist asks what she means by promise. With conviction, he reaffirms his objective of becoming stronger and achieving his goals, and repeats the promise of marriage, remembering the commitment he had made in the past. Then he remembers an important detail of the promise that he had completely forgotten until then. The two begin to argue about the promise, exposing different points of view. Sealwa explains that she heard rumors about Hyol hearing things she never imagined. He is called the Chaotic Sword Demon, a title he bears with disdain. The girl is then shocked by the rumors about him, unable to believe everything she heard. The protagonist calmly says that he doesn't care what people say about him. The two remember the promise made in the past, and the bond between them is still strong. Sealwa, with a smile, repeats the marriage proposal as if expecting a response. Hyol hesitates to accept the proposal, saying that he already has a commitment and needs to be faithful. The couple is sitting together at the table, a silent moment of reflection. An old man says that in Murim there are two inevitable things: destiny and death. An old master is seen saying that there are only two things they cannot escape. How is the passage of time, and the other is a rental scam. Hyol cries, remembering the worst days in Jonghu, moments of pain and regret. Someone asks if he is really the Chaotic Sword Demon, with doubt in their voice. Another person asks if he needs money, wanting to understand his intentions. She reveals that she works for Companhia Commercial Eterna, a strategic choice. Mayan Kyung, a woman, questions Hyol about an outstanding debt with a watchful eye. Sealwa claims to know what happened with a serious tone and confidence in her words. Someone comments on his past and his methods by spreading rumors about his fame. The woman in green is sitting in a position of power, watching everyone around her with superiority. The white-haired girl watches Mayan Kyung from afar with a calculating and observant expression. Hyol finds the situation embarrassing and feels uncomfortable with the accusations made. He feels wronged, believing he doesn't deserve to be treated this way, and explains that he helped other people financially, trying to justify his actions. Sealwa is shown as a strong and powerful master, someone who commands respect. She questions the protagonist's actions, trying to understand his motivations and choices. Hyol is desperate and scared, fearing the consequences of what is happening. The woman in green observes the situation with a keen eye, watching every move, while the protagonist asks to pretend, suggesting that he act something to calm tensions. Mayan Kyung says there was a misunderstanding, trying to clear up the confusion that had formed, and admits to having used Hyol's name, revealing that he was being manipulated. Sealwa questions the value of the favor, wanting to understand what is being offered in return. The woman in green considers the situation complex, thinking about how to resolve it without causing more problems, while offering a high amount of compensation, trying to convince Hyol to accept the proposal. Hyol trusts Mayan Kyung, believing that the offer is genuine and could be advantageous for him, and accepts the proposal, agreeing with the agreement and the established terms. The woman in green gives the protagonist a large amount of money, delivering the promised compensation. The canal looks at the money, both surprised by the amount that is now in front of them. Sealwa minimizes the amount by saying that it will be the couple's and that it won't make any difference to them, and states that he does not hesitate to spend money on Hyol, demonstrating his commitment and support. Hyol feels relieved and exhausted knowing that he managed to resolve the situation somehow, while Mayan Kyung looks at the large amount of money, admiring the generosity of the offering. The protagonist is relieved to have paid off his debt and feels a little more free from pressure. It says that a debt should be created whenever possible, suggesting a power play. Hyol hesitates, thinking that the money isn't enough to make up for everything that happened. Sealwa touches his shoulder, trying to comfort him and take away his worries. The woman in green hugs Hyol, saying that their relationship cannot be expressed with money alone. She gets red-eyed and furious, feeling disrespected by the situation, and tells Mayan Kyung to stay still with a voice full of anger and defiance. Sealwa and the woman in green look like they're about to fight. The tense atmosphere between them is unmistakable. The white-haired girl uses an ability, and blue energy surrounds her, creating a force field around her. She uses a powerful skill against Mayan Kyung, showing all her strength and determination. Hyol tries to calm Sealwa, worried about the intensity of the situation. But the girl with white hair tells the woman in green to stay away with a firm and authoritative voice. The white-haired girl's eye glows with energy, signaling the growing power within her. Hyol shouts, saying that Sealwa is important to him, trying to contain the conflict. She stops for a moment. He celebrates being alive. Sealwa shows a cold and sad look. Hyol apologizes, acknowledging that the situation got out of control. He tries to stop Sealwa from leaving, and tries to stop the white-haired girl, but realizes that his words are not enough to calm her down. Despite the tension, Mayan Kyung thinks the situation is great for resolving pending problems. The protagonist asks what's so good. The woman in green boasts about her ability to understand and control complicated situations, and claims that Hyol used the moment to end an unwanted engagement. Mayan Kyung believes that he has somehow achieved the goal he has been planning. People react with amazement to the revelation and surprises as events unfold. Hyol walks alone with a dark aura around him, while remembering Sealwa, disappointed, her gaze haunting him in the memory, and goes back to the past, remembering his first meeting with Sealwa and how it all started. He remembers all the effort she put into becoming a master, realizing that she was unworthy of her effort. Hyol decides to look for it before any conversation or explanation. As he walks, he comes across desperate people running away from something unknown. He realizes they are talking about Sealwa. The person asks what happened suddenly. He asks in a threatening tone where she is. Without hesitation, the protagonist starts running, overcome by the urgency of reaching Sealwa. In disbelief, he doesn't believe what others said. Arriving at the cliff, Hyol faces Sealwa, who remains in the dangerous and unstable place. In desperation, he declares that he is willing to do anything to resolve the situation. An elderly man appears, asking directly about the supposed marriage. The man, still crying, questions if Hyol is saying she's going to marry him. Confused and uncomfortable, he seems lost with the unexpected turn of the conversation. Embarrassed, the protagonist tries to explain himself, but his words come out clumsy and nervous. He ends up being scolded by the old man, who accuses him of acting irresponsibly. The elderly man asks him not to make mistakes again. In thought, Hyol wonders if he is the only one who feels so vulnerable at that moment. The scene shows the two together, each with expressions full of tension. Finally, the man warns the protagonist not to underestimate Sealwa, because she is much stronger than she looks. Hyol looks suspicious and asks who the old man is that suddenly appeared, while the protagonist finally realizes that the elderly man was just talking to a tree. Then his daughter arrives and asks what he was doing. Hyol describes that he is on the other side of the mountain. As he walks, he reflects on the advice the old man gave him and feels confused. Then he starts to get lost in thought and meets Sealwa again. They remain motionless for a while. He explains to her the details about his quest to find the location of the medicine. Sealwa, with a puzzled look, questions the protagonist about the peculiar state of his eyes. From afar, Sealwa is shown with a serious face. Hyol declares that she cannot accept the possibility of marriage by denying the idea immediately. Surprised Seolwa asks the reason behind Hyol's refusal to accept the proposal. She begins to believe that he is deliberately avoiding marriage with her. The protagonist says she is correct. He reinforces his position by explaining that it is not possible for him to marry Seolwa. Saddened by the situation, Seolwa decides to leave without hearing further explanations. Hyol nervously tries to convince her that she interpreted everything wrong. He somewhat embarrassedly reveals that his low monthly income is the real problem. Confused Seolwa starts to question the whole situation and Hyol's motives. Thoughtfully, she reflects on what she heard, letting her uncertainty shine through. Hyol explains his financial situation and admits that the rumors about him were exaggerated. Hyol's sword is highlighted, symbolizing his journey and his struggles. Hyol sincerely says that he would like to love Seolwa fully. He takes courage and hugs Seolwa, showing his true feelings. Hyol asks Seolwa to be patient and wait a little longer for him. With determination, Hyol promises her that he will fulfill the promise he made in the past. In thought, Hyol decides that one day he will ask Seolwa to marry him again. Angry Seolwa is visibly nervous about the situation. The two hug tightly, making it clear how much they mean to each other. Hyol and Seolwa hug once again. Hyol says he's willing to wait for the right time for marriage. Hyol is in shock and seems desperate in the face of the unexpected situation. Seolwa slams her hand against the wall, showing her determination and intensity. Seolwa approaches Hyol, impulsively trying to kiss him. In thought, Seolwa imagines what her marriage and future children will be like. He asks her to wait a little while showing shame. He is in shock, unable to speak. A man heard a scream in the distance. The man sees the scene with amazement. A man claims with conviction that a star of the Orthodox sect has been surpassed. Men exclaim in disbelief, the sword of the sun and moon. A man confidently claims that the chaotic sword demon took the initiative in the attack. People say that the chaotic sword demon took the sun and moon family hostage. People talk about rumors that the chaos sword demon defeated the star of the Orthodox sect. A woman says things are starting to get interesting. She announces that she has an allegiance to the butcher boy and clarifies that one star devoured the other. She declares that the next generation of prodigies has already been decided. The woman declares that the next great master of Murim will certainly come from her clan. Seolwa is sitting calmly with a face that conveys calm and serenity, and looks away, showing a slight passion in his expression. An old wooden door is shown. The girl with white hair remains seated, but now with a seductive smile that changes the atmosphere of the situation. An unknown foot appears approaching Seolwa amidst the tension. She has a look that shines intensely, exuding a frightening energy. A man shouts in the background, calling Hyol the chaotic sword demon with intensity. The same man shouts again, now with evident anger, carrying a threatening tone. He questions Hyol, directly asking if he forgot something important. Seolwa suddenly attacks the man, drastically changing the situation. She asks if today is someone's death anniversary with a curious tone, and calmly reveals that she is the owner of the house, leaving him surprised. A man introduces himself as the owner of the inn, trying to assert himself. The white-haired girl looks at the man with a clearly uncomfortable expression of disapproval, and explains that today is rent day, making the situation more tense. Being in the kitchen preparing something with skill and calmness, focused on work, while you continue preparing food in the kitchen, focused on your tasks. Hyol finds the situation exaggerated and wonders about the turn of events. The owner of the inn complains about the delay and the condition of the inn, irritated. Then continues complaining about the state of the inn, visibly frustrated. Hyol asks if he can use the money to pay the rent and try to resolve the situation. The owner of the inn rejects the protagonist's proposal, showing distrust and disinterest. Seolwa holds a knife angrily, visibly uncomfortable with the growing tension. Hyol and the inn owner are sitting in silence, both pondering what to do. The owner of the inn comments on the beauty of the girl with white hair, trying to soften the tense atmosphere. The protagonist explains about the promise he made to a lady, trying to justify his position. The owner of the inn is shocked by the revelation, clearly surprised by the story. Rumors begin to spread throughout the village, causing the situation to gain more attention. The owner comments on the situation without knowing how to deal with the new context. A rumor about Yahello hypnotizing Sealwa starts to be mentioned, making everything more complicated. Yahello is shocked by the rumor, not believing what he just heard about himself. He asks what the white-haired girl thinks of him, trying to understand how she sees the situation. A table with food is shown, making the environment more peaceful and welcoming. The couple is eating together, trying to stay calm while talking. The inn owner says that Yahello is in the spotlight, causing more discomfort. They are together sharing a peaceful moment despite the rumors. The protagonist says it's okay, trying to reassure Sealwa and himself too. The girl with white hair is close to him, watching him carefully, perhaps worried about him. The boy is blushing and embarrassed, feeling happy with the situation, planning to get a better house, wanting to improve both of their lives and resolve everything. He wants to become a real master and marry Sealwa, seeking a future together. The couple are close, sharing a moment of complicity and trust. The inn owner asks about the rent, reminding Yahello of her financial responsibilities. A simple country house is shown, symbolizing a possible new life for Yahello and Sealwa. The protagonist feels relieved at the idea that maybe things are finally getting right. A man shows his tongue. The two are in a luxurious room. A man thinks about using the money to buy a house, planning a more stable future. Yahello refuses the idea of buying the house immediately, preferring to make a careful decision. He reveals that the money was brought by Sealwa, sharing the responsibility between them. The couple hold hands, showing unity and mutual support. The girl says the money is theirs, reinforcing the partnership between them. They go hand in hand, walking together with confidence and harmony. The inn owner is furious, clearly irritated by the situation involving Yahello and Sealwa. While watching the couple, the man at the inn threatens Yahello, trying to intimidate him, which guarantees that there will be no more problems. And he is relieved and smiles, feeling that things are finally going in the right direction. A house is on fire. Yahello and the inn owner walk together in amazement. He hands the bag to the inn owner, trying to fulfill his end of the deal, and is shocked by what just happened without knowing how to react. A huge explosion happens, leaving everyone around on alert and in panic. Tang Hai attacks Yahello, surprising him with her aggressive action. She claims that this is her revealing her identity in an imposing way, and declares that she is the next leader of the clan, and that the poisonous phoenix has arrived. Yahello and the inn owner are scared and don't know how to deal. Tang Hai declares that she will assassinate the protagonist, making her objective clear. She is seen in a crowd surrounded by people, and challenges Yahello to fight with a defiant and intent look. Sealwa uses a skill that creates a large whirlpool of energy in the air, and attacks Tang Hai with a powerful energy blast, who looks excited to fight, displaying a confident and aggressive smile. Yahello and Sealwa protect themselves by finding a way to resist the pink-haired girl's attacks. She is prepared to fight with a firm and focused stance, getting ready to fight your eyes, demonstrating concentration and determination. The girl says it's been a while since the last time you saw them. The two face each other. Tang Hai realizes that the rumors about Yahello are real, saying it wasn't in the plans, but now he accepts the situation and moves on. Sealwa is serious and prepared for the fight, her eyes focused on the opponent in front of her. The pink-haired girl demonstrates her power. A wave of energy begins to form around her. She is trapped in the earth with her hands and feet immobilized. People say the fire has dissipated. The girl is irritated by the situation, and keeps saying about the stars of the orthodox sects. Then it gets stuck on the floor again. A mysterious new character appears. An arm touches the mysterious character's hair, making him turn around in surprise. Tang Jaeyo is presented as an elite assassin, and his presence intimidates others around him. She and Tang Hai appear together, forming a duo that exudes power and confidence. Hyol looks at them from afar and questions the pink-haired girl's actions, trying to understand the reasons behind her behavior. Who explains his actions with a stupid smile while revealing his plans and intentions, and laughs at the situation, clearly amused by Hyol and the others' discomfort. Hyol is scolded by her, who looks at him with disdain, correcting him impatiently. The girl criticized him for his actions, calling him naive and showing her contempt. The protagonist is confused and irritated, unable to process everything that is happening around him, and questions Tang Hai about what she said earlier, trying to understand her intentions. Tang Jae explains her actions by revealing what motivated her to act in a certain way. The pink-haired girl yells at the woman, calling her an idiot. Sealwa questions the two's actions, trying to understand what they are planning. Tang Jae explains his motivation for revenge, his desire for justice for something from the past, and observe an explosion of energy demonstrating its power amidst the chaos. Explaining his plan to defeat Sealwa by detailing his strategy in a cold and calculated way. Hyol and Sealwa are asked about their relationship, with words hanging in the air between them. They deny knowing each other, maintaining a facade of indifference and mystery. And the pink-haired girl is furious with the situation. Her expression clearly shows her displeasure, and explains his motivation for attacking Sealwa by revealing the reason for his anger. The white-haired girl watches the fight, attentive to the movements around her as everything happens. Tang Hai and Tang Jae are stuck in the earth trying to break free. They are visibly furious with the situation they are facing. Tang Jae uses a powerful sword technique, demonstrating his dominance over the situation. Hyol is shocked by her power and impressed by the strength she displays. People talk about Sealwa's escape, spreading rumors about what happened. She is seen moving with agility and speed as she advances across the battlefield, and is seen with a determined look, focused on her goals and ready to act. The white-haired girl's eye shines brightly, reflecting her determination and concentrated power. People watch her taking someone with her, surprised by the unexpected action. Tang Hai explains her decision to use hostages by justifying the need for control in the situation. An old man is shown from behind, with his mysterious presence standing out in the environment. Tang Jae holds an old woman's head. Hyol is shocked by the revelation, unable to fully process what was said. The pink-haired girl threatens the protagonist again, making it clear that her intentions are not friendly. He is shocked and confused, struggling to understand what is happening around him. Tang Jae watches Hyol, Sealwa, and Tang Hai analyzing their movements, revealing that the pink-haired girl is Hyol's daughter, causing an even bigger surprise at the moment. He becomes confused and thoughtful, reflecting on the revelation and the impact it has. Tang Hai is shocked to learn that his mother died when he was just 5 years old, and reveals Hyol's real name, surprising everyone around with the information. Someone recognizes Hyun's mother, bringing back memories and questions about the past. Tang Hai asks the inn owner for help in the midst of the unfolding chaos, screaming in anger, expressing his frustration and pain with the current situation, and is irritated by the situation, clearly uncomfortable with what is happening, while threatening Tang Hai, showing that she is willing to use force to control the situation. Tang Jae is holding an old man with a knife, showing his power and control over him. Hyol is trying to calm Tang Hai, trying to avoid more conflicts and escalating the tension. People comment on the situation, muttering about what is happening and what might come next. People are shocked to learn that her mother died when she was just a child, and reveals Hyol's real name, leaving everyone surprised by the revelation. Someone recognizes Hyun's mother, bringing up memories of the past and complicating the situation. Tang Hai is being attacked by Tang Jae, who shows her strength and aggression in the fight. She becomes furious, her anger boiling over as she tries to react to the attack, and is called despicable and insulted by others due to recent events. The girl is criticized for her actions, with others showing disapproval of her conduct. Sealwa intervenes in the fight by appearing to try to put an end to the dispute and protect those involved. and calls Tang Hai a brat, showing contempt for her aggressive attitude. Hyol has no reaction to what is happening. The pink-haired girl attacks Sealwa, trying to surprise her with a quick and aggressive move, who then counterattacks Tang Hai with a precise blow, defending himself with skill and strength. She is confident but realizes something, and uses a powerful sword technique to defend himself. Tang Jaeyo realizes that it wouldn't be easy to hit her. The protagonist is hit by an attack, falling to the ground and being injured by the impact. Sealwa calls the protagonist, trying to check if he is okay, and is worried about Hyol looking at him with concern. She looks worried about him, her face reflecting her tension. The girl cries, feeling helpless in the face of the situation without knowing how to help. Hyol says he's fine, trying to calm the girl down and show her that her injuries aren't serious. The couple hugs each other, seeking comfort from each other after the confrontation. He says he ended up worrying about Sealwa. Someone asks if the protagonist is okay, noticing his condition and the tension in the environment. Hyol downplays his injuries by trying to keep his wife from worrying about him even more. Tang Hai appears laughing provocatively when she sees the complicated situation between the two. She reveals that she used a powerful poison, smiling darkly and defiantly, and explains about the poison, detailing its effects and how it affected the protagonist, who is shocked by the revelation without knowing how to react to the poison. Tang Hai explains the poison's effect by saying that it directly affects the master's vital energy. Hyol is hit by green energy coming from the poison that begins to affect his body. Tang Hai explains more about the poison, detailing its danger. The protagonist seems worried, trying to understand what is happening. The girl reveals her dark intention to end Hyol, and while watching them, following their reaction to the poison that was applied, then you wonder if you applied the poison too soon, wondering if the effect will be immediate. The couple looked worried, trying to find a way to deal with the situation. Tang Hai wonders if she used the wrong poison, questioning your own actions and the effect on the target. Ely is bruised with visible injuries from the recent fight, and she is in pain. The expression on her face shows how much she is suffering. Hyol and Sealwa watch the pink-haired girl, attentive to her movements and worried about her condition. They continue to watch her. They wonder what happened to her. A mountainous setting is shown with a vast and wild landscape in the background. Tang Hai's eye is seen showing an intense expression. She wakes up in a bed, still visibly weak. Hyol asks the girl if she's awake, trying to check her status. The pink-haired girl is furious, while the protagonist is also irritated. He asks her if she wants to continue, making it clear that there is more to be faced. The pink-haired girl confirms that the poison was real. The only way to neutralize the poison is explained. The skill called Return to Purity, focusing your energy to cure the poison. She imagines that Hyol used the advanced technique, showing his mastery and the power necessary for healing. Tang Hai asks why the protagonist saved her. Sealwa is shown from the back with a firm posture, clearly furious. Hyol says they need to resolve some issues. The pink-haired girl is worried about her life, knowing that her condition is serious and that time is running out. She regrets the current situation, recognizing the difficulties and weight of the decisions that need to be made, and says it's your turn to act, while admitting that it was not a case of hostage or brainwashing. The protagonist is serious and prepared for the next action. Tang Hai denies any family involvement, distancing herself from any relationship with others, and takes full responsibility for their actions, recognizing the consequences of their actions. Hyol doesn't underestimate Tang Hai, knowing that she is strong and capable of making firm decisions. Explaining the meaning of 100,000 Niang, making the value and its importance in the situation clear. The two agree to continue, deciding to move forward to resolve what is at stake. Hyol claims that Tang Hai will personally collect the money by taking the task as her mission. The Penguolin sign is shown. The girl with pink hair is at the inn greeting guests with a smile on her face. She charges 5 Niang from each guest, then carry a bucket with something inside. Hyol is surprised by the situation, not expecting things to take this turn. The two are together with a threatening aura. Tang Hai is clearly uncomfortable while dealing with the situation. The couple is together sharing the tense and worrying moment. He's worried about Sealwa, but she claims that everything will be fine, trying to convey confidence even in the face of confusion. The girl is red-eyed and determined. Hyol says that being close to her could make the fight more difficult out of concern for her safety. He and Sealwa are close to each other. Hyol's hand touches the white-haired girl. The two are hugging each other, showing confusion and affection. Being hugged showing love. Tang Hai and the inn owner are clearly annoyed by the situation. Someone asks about Tang Jayo, curious about her whereabouts or intentions. A view of the village is shown. People comment on them, intrigued by the relationship between the two. Someone is removing a suffocating mask. A woman comments that the situation is refreshing. Tang Jayo says goodbye to everyone. Her eye is shown as she says she will see them next time, while the woman calls Hyol a rival. But I can only tell you what happened if you leave a like and subscribe to the channel.